Welcome to our Framing Cube project. This is Group 4. I'm Jack Kemp.
I'm Kendall Grace.
I'm Alexis McKay.
I'm JJ Parkilla.
When it comes to the materials that we use for the Framing Cube project, our group used a small handsaw to make precise cuts in our wood. Firstly, we used like scissors or like a box cutter, but that didn't work out in the best way, so we had to switch it up. Thanks to JJ and Jack, they bought handsaws, which came like in handy. We also used Gorilla Glue and wood glue to build our house. The only problem we had with the glue is that the dry time took a little bit longer than expected. We ended up using roughly 14 of the smaller wood members and around 4 of the larger members to keep our waste at a minimum.
Okay, I'll be discussing the building process. First, we started by building the foundation according to the SketchUp model, as well as the drawings that were given to us. We wanted to start with the foundation so we'd be able to start from the bottom and work our way up. When we started the foundation, we cut each wooden piece that we needed, and once we had all of the foundation pieces cut, we assembled the walls of the foundation, and we filled it in with the wooden cross members. We made sure to let the foundation dry for a full 24 hours before we built anything else on top of it. Once the foundation was assembled, we went ahead and we started framing out each wall. We decided that the best way to build the walls was by assembling them on a table, and after that, after the glue was all dried on the wall sections, we went ahead and glued each wall to the foundation.
Alrighty guys, so for this slide I included some photos of the walls being put up on the foundation as we built them. We started by laying down the top or the bottom plate first on a table. We lined up where all the wall pieces needed to go and then lined up the top plate with it. Once that section ended up being dry, we went ahead and put it on the foundation. All of the walls that had window sections or door sections, we started out with framing out those sections first and then going around and building out the rest of the wall around it. So the photo to the far right was the only one that gave us a couple problems because it is at a diagonal, but we ended up framing out the door first and then working around the rest of the wall, and it just worked out fine. Alright, and then for the starting of the roof, we decided to go ahead and start with the T-beam. It was kind of a pain. We had to do it piece by piece and then install it section by section. Since it is in the very middle, we had to make sure that it was strong enough that it wouldn't cave. So that was our biggest challenge when building that, but we started with the middle beam first and then built out the smaller T section underneath of it. And then the roof section we ended up putting directly on top of the beams, and so those sections we already made sure to have up so that way we could work around them when installing the rest of the roof.
Now onto building the roof. We decided that the best way to build the roof was to take it section by section. So we started by assembling the roof section that was towards the front of the house on that side. This is where we kind of ran into our biggest issue with the wood sliding around because of the wet glue and the fact that it was an unsupported roof structure going on the top plates. So after we had the front portions of the roof completed, we decided to do the single pitch roof in the back, and this was a slight challenge since the glue was taking a while to dry. So we decided to use this lope from a 3-ring binder just pulled out of my backpack to help with our assembly process. Now, as you can see below on the slide, we've got some photos from the final product and also during the building process, the construction process of the roof. And if I could direct your attention to that top left picture up there, the structure that came after the T-beam was constructed was that one on the right there. It's a little longer, and basically we would just the same building process we've been doing was, looking at shop drawings, pulling measurements, and then making cuts. Obviously measuring multiple times. And if you'll look down at the bottom right, that's kind of another view we've got of it. It's the roof structure on the left there, which was just a little bit different dimensionally than the one on the right. It was a little bit shorter, but similar members. And then after that, there were just two of those. So there were 3 sections in total. And if I could direct your attention down to that bottom left picture, that's the one we kind of had a little bit of trouble with, just because it was sliding off the structure due to the glue, and due to the fact that nothing was really supporting it in place as the glue dried.
All right, so in this slide, we're all going to kind of go over what we learned as a group. So one of the big things that we learned was the importance of working with each other's schedules. We were all super busy with other classes, work, events going on campus. So we decided to make a group chat, and we all were communicating with each other in the group chat, trying to figure out what time, what days would work best for everyone, so that way we could all get together in the same place and work on it as a group.
Another thing we kind of learned and implemented was brainstorming. Obviously, with this kind of project, it takes like critical thinking and getting together as a group to write down ideas or verbalize ideas. That way we can implement it in our project.
Another thing that we learned was the importance of communication. Things like brainstorming or grabbing the materials or even setting up scheduling times is really hard to do without communication. So like before mentioned, we set up a group chat. We talk to each other, set up meeting times, just make sure we're all on the same page for due dates and deadlines. And communication also really helped make sure there weren't any conflicts or confusion between us. It kept us on the same page when we were going into our meeting sessions. We knew what we were going to be doing, what we needed to bring, and it just helped us out overall to avoid conflict.
When it came to our time management, we wanted to make sure that we would not be stressed out about deadlines. So we came to the conclusion to start progress on our project as soon as possible rather than later. This helped us make sure that we were able to submit everything at the correct deadline, so we wouldn't turn anything in late, I guess. And yeah, that's pretty much it. That was 25 seconds. You can keep all of that.
Now, one other thing we learned during this project was about adhering to plans. One of the first things we were tasked with was to create a set of shop drawings, and off those shop drawings is what we built our model stick frame house out of. So that's one thing that we had to take into account when measuring and then cutting the wooden members as well.
All right, guys, that was a wrap on that. Thank you guys so much for watching our presentation. We really appreciate it.